Alright, Treasury Financial Manual, Volume 1, Part 4, Chapter 7000, Cancellation, the of the Reclamation for the claims for the check withdrawn with the U.S. Treasury. The chapter provided the information for the pursuit of the proposal regarding with the process of the checks for reclamation, canceling U.S. Treasury checks that are sale dated, the union delivered, return of the identified but not received, the loss of the destroyed, mutilated, non-payable, paid not until they're improperly negotiated. 7010. Scope of the chapter prescribes the procedure for the forms of the issue for the automatically canceling check withdrawn with the general account with the U.S. Treasury for the process for the undelivered the return check for the process and claim with the between the non-receipt, loss of that for the destruction and mutilation for the check for the process for reclamation with the improperly negotiated U.S. Treasury checks. Remember the chapter apply with the federal entities to do their disbursement and non-treasury distribution of as well for those services by the Bureau of Official Services. Section 7015, the authority governing authorities limited with the eligibility, claimability, the reclaimability of the Treasury stocks. Share checks include the following competitive equality branch for the Act of 1987. Debit Collection Improvement Act of 1996, Public Law 104, 134, Title 31, U.S. Code 321, 332, 33, 28, 33, 31, 33, 43, 3702, 3712, Title 31, CFR Part 235, 240, and 245, Section 7020, determine the definition of the employer-related chapter for the Treasury Financial Management Glossary. 7025, limited pay cancellation, the competitive equality banking act will provide U.S. Treasury checks must be negotiated no later than 1 year from the date of issuance. Additionally, the checks that are negotiated cancel the receipt of the return of the distribution of the authorized issuance of the check. Those limited payable cancellation U.S. Treasury checks have a legend void after 1 year printed above the disbursing officer for the signature. Official service cancel with the non-negotiated checks over the 12 months over during the 4 meeting month the return of the receipt of the distribution of the authorized payment of the credit of the operation fund that kind of initial charge. 702510, reversal limited payability cancellation. Some case check with the negotiated financial institutions of 1 year of the date of the issue with the help above the processing Federal Reserve Bank's system prevents the payment of the deposit of the TCIF to perform the limited payability cancellation occur within these for the instance of the officials of the reverse liability of the cancellation credit previously provided to the distribution of the integrated of the mineral purchase and collection transaction must provide with a copy to pay with the item distribution of the transaction separate from the monthly cancellation credit. For 702520, the tax issue prior to the October 1st, 1989, November 1990, officials for the identified cancel all the tax issue did not negotiate for the prior to the October 1st, 1989, simplified applied money for the required with Section 1003 with the CABA, rather than being make of these money available to distribution officer simply limited payment and cancellation. 702530 claims presented with the distribution. Claims presented to the distribution officer the obligation to pay the president of the claim with the distribution officer the underlying obligation of the check. The distribution officer must examine the records to see whether the earlier claim the cancellation has been processed. The distribution officer determines the pay the intent of the payment, identify the score of the account with the funds originally paid with the distribution officer rectify. Recertify the payment of the appropriation fund with the original payment that was made with the successor account. Section 730 with the available check cancellation profit return unavailable mutilated usury checks the possession federal entity the official serve the for 3 business days received the disbursing office include checks recover the return of possession federal entity official serve the subsequent to the submission of the UCC checks involved the holder and due with the court's claims the mutilated check with a substantial portion of the checks that are missing said dated check with the ACC process cannot be used with the non-treasury distribution officer issued treasury check for the non-distribution officer made distribution officer made void the check with the rain check that they have handy instead of the ACC process or advanced check cancellation process. Or 73010, the safekeeping and return check for the distribution officer must maintain adequate with the security of the procedure of safekeeping and ownership with the return on delivery well with the possession with their chain, all for the preventing the disposition, minimum of the must for the opening sure that the pay for the return U.S. Treasury the check with the present of the 2 people, the limited acts for the air for the return of the U.S. Treasury checks profit, the entities will sign responsibly with the process of return check, secure the check for the locked for the container if there is delay with the true in the time of the check with the receipt when they are the face. 73020 with the facing return check with the pay for each for the usury treasury check with cancel with the pay for the same with the legend for the non-negotiable letter with the legend must be prominent side with the remove of the possibility of renegotiate the most of the color other black with the preferably red. 73030 with the transmittal return check with the facial serve with the distribution officer for the determine the color for the reserve Official service must be now later from the business dates from the dates for the receipt of the addition with the same thing all of the return, non-negotiable distribution offer must be the following. Mark the check for the appropriate return, reasonably cover the penalty with the return code of the definition, list for the check for the transmittal. Transmittal minimum must show the federal entity with the name of the agency, location code with the name of the phone number, the point of contact, two people to verify the transmittal with the distribution office and the official service. Official service should provide us the U.S. Treasury checks return the distribution office to the state, but the receiver that also possible to no later than 3 days following the receipt. Official service must verify all the checks for the transmittal of the receiver. The signal transmitted acknowledge the receipt. Keep the copy of the transmittal of the record. Return the original transmittal to the distribution office. 73040 for the recover the return check of the original to recover the return of the federal and the non-treasury the distribution office. Official service the subject for the being profitable with the UCC stand with the legend non-negotiable previously trade with the cancel stand form 1188 UCC David the check with it must be retained with the 90 days then shredded. Official check with the cancellation free pay sir online 703050. Official service of claims scans are returned unavailable to check for the help with the federal and with the input of the pacer online data from the mutual check for the manually with the pacer online process the cancellation and the PCIS overnight with the batch process credit information appears in the TCIS billing business day section 736 703060 available check cancellation file transmission return without credit during the Panzer line out credit for the automated available check cancellation request will be rejected and check that has already been paid or canceled. 703070 check the return of the authorization federal entity no longer operates the distribution offer the return check for the distribution offer no longer operates same with the check for the non-negotiable for the success of the distribution office. Section 735 of the accounting reporting requirements available to check cancellation. Section prescribed the requirement to perceive the use of the federal entity with the account with the report cancellation available to check the paper online still file with the transmission required. Single check cancellation action transmitted with the TCIS for credit of the FP federal program agency receive the credit with the TCIS press the credit V with the same form 1098 to the federal entity of the agency location code. 735-10 established liable for the payment the pursuit of the undelivered credit check with the credit with the disbursing officer for the availability of the liability sales for the amount of the undelivered check with the credit with the distribution of the account with the possible subsequent payment pay with the established stated upon the claims of the pursuit of the liability represent the pay of the obligation of the distribution of the customary documentation establish the obligation of the payability in the account distribution officer must maintain a file with the undelivered check for the end to facilitate the prompt process of the claim of the proceeding when presented by the payees to the other estates. 7035 20 reporting check cancellation subsection prescribed the canceled check with the reporting pursuant with the essential accounting reporting system accounting statement the standard form 1219 1220 and standard form 1221. 7035 28 central accounting reporting system accounting statement the restrict with the physical serve the payment sum of the issuing serve with the credit with the capital with the deposit the transaction reduction the disbursement distribution of the central accounting reporting system accounting statement using appropriate business event type code with the deposit of the transaction covered with the same fiscal year distribution of the must monitor of the central accounting reporting system, the accounting statement with the entry of the transaction report with the correct with the Treasury accounting system, Treasury accounting symbol, the business entity, business event type code, reclassification transaction, central accounting reporting statement, the CTA statement, the necessary. 703520B stand form 12-19 official services 12-19 reporting cancellation process behalf of the federal entity for the reducing of the amount of the disbursement 73520 stand form 12-20 and 12-21 purchasing officer for the other than Treasury must submit with the standard form 12-20 or the standard 12-21 foreign currency account along with the standard form 12-19 12-18 respect for the report cancellation carriers for the classified appropriation fund and recipient account. Alright, section 7040 of the determination status of a check for the date of the 7-year-old period distribution of the TCIS over the page for the online see appendix 4 of the list of the explanation for the text status code 7045 the non-receiver the non-entitlement claim profit section prescribed the form of the receiver the distribution of the requesting action unavailable checks perceive the or you the pay report the non-receiver the theft of the loss of the needle life the destruction of the text the receiver the wish for the due of the pay with the determined distribution of the determined the pay with is not entitled to perceive the check perceive the section that does not apply loss or stolen blank check with tax and the holder and due the course of the claims and lawful theft check for the transit payment between the Federal Reserve Bank or from the Federal Reserve Bank to certain other financial institutions and the direct deposit of electronic funds and Fed wire payments. 704510, unavailable to check cancellation. Stop reading the text after the inquiry before processing. Claim of the payee, claimant of the distribution of the message for the following. Claimant is entitled to payment to check for the profits and previously scheduled for the issue for the check with the non-possession for the distribution of the non-cancellation. The distribution positive action has been taken previously for the file of the non-receipt. The claim of the U.S. Treasury check with the distribution of the must submit it to the UCEC online through the TCIV with the transmission line. 704510A, the top reason code. The distribution of the top reason code. The divide with the officials for the information. If the determination junction process through the appendix 1 with the list for the explanation for the top reason code. If the check has been paid, the FS form 3858 with its mail with the distribution of the UCC, stop reading the codes A, B, F, and G, and then 4 payment of overall cancellation claim for the top reason code C, D, and F. The FS form 3858 was paid from the plain payee or claimant. 704510B, the check status of an inquiry code, the distribution of the check for the status inquiry code, the codes K and L with the solely obtaining the image of the paid check for the check staff, the inquiry code that are not intended to will not resolve for the federal entity not over the use of the claim of the not nor receive non-receive the image of the paid check for the can be viewed and printed with the TCIS paper online. 704520 officials for the process of the UCC with the 74520A with the preparation file transmission distribution responsible for the act of the pay with the name of the address official server the reject the UCC with ends if any of the following information missing disagree with official service record requiring payment of the payment identification number of the check with the date of the vendor miscellaneous payment of the check the issuing rate the schedule number of the distribution of the required file with the UCC file with the assignment with the transmittal with the transmittal file with the financial server the profit extension file with the transit certified with the correction the information file with the being transmitted, include with the text description, authorized financial server the process request upon receipt the UCC server the financial official server the profit file with the pacer online consolidated validated claims entry for the subsequent number of the daily UCC file was transmitted to TCIS transmission include the data each of the pay with the claimant that required with the financial server the file specification submitting to the department and author distribution officer official service to do the following. Add symbol to serve the number of the check consult with the claim of the UCC submission to terminate the UCC record the pacer online the TCI is further processing. Official service to notify the distribution officer the disposition each of the claim and the subject of the return file for the other media. TCI's rejection of the UCA. TCI's rejection of the UCC transmission file formats and properly prepared with the incorrect unreadable TCI return the UCC file for the distribution officer process before processing file. TCI can read the UCC file with the required the data of the individual record missing and appropriate for the top reading the code to select for the TCI the daily advice status message to indicate the projected UCI CC item the DAS provides reason for the rejection advised of the action of the taken. TCIs may generate more than one DAS rejection message for each for the USCC submission. Or 704520 for the DAS method every except that is rejected the UCC record of the proposal of the TCI of the DA distribution the accounting reserve the DAF the DAF the accounting the document the DAF containing the domestic staff the document the ending for the TSI determination staff of the UCC with the appendix provide with a list of the task code with the message for the explanation. Section 750 with the accounting reporting requirement. The section prescribed the information accounting reporting requirement. The following UCC credit limited payable with cancellation credit payable over cancellation. 75010 UCC credit the TDO UCC submission result of the credit and filing to provide with the federal entity the authorized payment of the check status issue outstanding official serve the return of the UCC credit the TDO over the end standard form of the 1185 the schedule of the track strand for the Treasury distribution off the UCC credit the non-Treasury distribution off the agency location inter-government purchase and collection system all tracks transaction report of the non-Treasury the distribution of the accounting account reporting system account statement that after the translated correspond with the Treasury accounting simple business event type code written sharing accounting module SAMS non-Treasury distribution on the mention for the complete with the cash flow profile with the chain the track for the activity of the other transactions translate with the correct Treasury accounting symbol with the business entity and business event type code. No tracks automatically assign with the distinct integrated purchase and collection bill number of all the transactions. Or 750-20 with a limited payability, cancellation credit with the checks over the 12-month old negotiate with the automatically credit during the 14-month will proceed with the return of the DO of the credit with the operation fund the applicant account with the initial trouble the transfer the per line limited payability, cancel creditation due, distribution of the agency location code through the intergovernment purchasing and collection system. 750-30 with the accounting cancel check with the credit with the distribution office of the account distribution office return with the receipt of the cancel check with the account with the check with the originally issued for the distribution office will annul multi-year non-year of operation account with the tree with the cancel check with the account and payable to distribution office determines if the liability is not available for funds are available for the obligation if the account is not expressed with the case that was liable for all of the claim and the provide place the property account that is closed with the balance cancel for the distribution office of the may use the 1% of the current of the operation reporting 46% of class of saving the transaction may seek reparation distribution of the investment trust and revolve with the deposit of the funds account must file with the procedure of the Treasury Finance Manual Volume 1 Part 6 Chapter 3000 distribution of the invested account with the retained fund for the cancel check with them their books 1750-40 payment over cancellation process. The point of contact resolved with the check with the grant previously canceled with the UCC with is subsequently presented with the payment of the acceptance of the presentation. First of the official server that has similar credit for the distribution of the check with the substantial subsequently negotiated official services with the track the debit of the distribution on account of the integrated government purchasing canceling overpayment of official services of the FS form 3858 with the distribution of the completion of the pay of the claimant with the receipt of the completed claim of the official process according with the CFIF guidelines, intergovernmental bill data file with the tracks generated, intergovernmental purchase and collection bill data reflecting individual pay with the claimant the corresponding check with the information counting with the intergovernmental purchase and collection bill, credit charges listed separately with the non-commingled with the same intergovernmental purchase and collection bill document or the bill data file. Or 750-60 federal entity reporting intergovernmental purchase and collection department distribution, particularly with the intergovernmental purchase and collection bills, generally with the tracks reporting the intergovernment purchase and collection bills with the detail available with the distribution over the time of the IPAC with the website with the current month of the transaction detail that remain available with the distribution over the IPA website with the 15 month after the credit and the transfer the detail of the money and must equal the total amount of the IPAC bill with the IPAC bill with the documentary evidence official service provided with the credit for the charge of the tracks transaction and automatically reported along with the federal entity with the delay with the IPAC with the transaction for the entity with the central accounting reporting statement accounting statement that each day federal entity to review the detail of the transaction with visiting the IPAC with the website with the inquiring the transaction data into location review the car's accounting statement with each of the accounting period the distribution of the most amount of the car's account statement the tracks after the recorded tracks transaction will most for the Treasury accounting standard symbol business entity type code federal entities request the cash flow profile of the shared accounting module with not owned the original Treasury accounting symbol the brothers advent type code with include the original transaction by the end of each month of the distribution office must reconcile with the car's activity by Treasury accounting symbol the business event type code with the internal accounting symbol the record classify accounting any transaction correct with the Treasury accounting symbol the business event type code with the central accounting reporting for the CTA statement if necessary after reporting credit charge credit or charge on the with F3880 account with the internal accounting record with the distribution of the money prepare journal voucher clear with the credit the charge of the form F3880 with account the funds report of the preparation fund account with identify the distribution officer thereof with each for the account period the distribution officer must monitor the journal voucher they actively record on the car's account with the statement by the end of the month and with the federal entity must reconcile with the car's activity with the Treasury accounting system symbol Treasury accounting symbol business event type code with the internal accounting system record to reclassify the transaction card the CTA statement if necessary journal voucher transfer code the F3880 the account with the distribution officer appropriation funding operating account with the distribution operation distribution officer reports of the charge of the F38880 with the account with the repayment credit the operation fund account final voucher transfer for the change of the F380 with the account with the distribution off the operation fund account with the distribution off the reports credit with the F380 account with the debit trove of the operation funding of the account with the form information the intergovernment purchase and collection perceived the minus also visit the official service of the IPAC web site. Any charge the credit processed by Trax Club at the last business day of the month is accounted with the subsequent accounting month. Part 757, in liquidating an account receivable for the distribution of the officer of the office of the re-certified of the payment established with the account receivable before the receiving the credit with official serve the credit serve the officer of the receivable. In this case, by the distribution of the re-certified of the payment establishing the account receivable before the credit from the official serve the credit restored with the amount with the original payment to the account which was made with which for the subsequent re-certified payment it will be made. 75080, the undispersed appropriation account ledger net dollar amount with the entire with the official serve the form F3880 of the accountant's report with the cars, the accountant's name of the statement, the agency location 2008 0009 list of the reporting entity, subsequent statement of the transaction reported distribution, all of the clear of the form F3880 of the account is also shown with the correct card of the accounting statement with the distribution, all of the agency location code shown with the reporting entity, for example, within two or more agency location with the department and distribution of the reports entry of this form 3880 of the accounting line item of the bridge reflected both agency location reporting with the account card of the account statement of the section 75090 with the reporting form 3880 with the accounting guidance for obtaining the index something is more than one agency location code that you the form same with the F3080 account. Request online act for the car's account statement that refers to the car's website. 75090 the F3880 of the unavailable to check with the cancellation overpayment suspense the account with the F38 with the account per budget clearing amount with the bit hold for the credit charge of the amount until the distribution officer identified with the correct operation from the distribution officer makes effort to maintain the minimum balance account transfer all of the money initially classified at current account with the proper appropriation fund especially this is a possible official services established with the form 3880 for the account with the distribution. Each for the distribution, all for the card of the accounting sheet, but the account is available online with the after the monthly treasury statement of public officials for the reports adjustment, reversal, and distribution of F3880 of the account. If the distribution office for the scope of the official credit with his charge and the error of the distribution of the content of the budget and reporting branch to provide the facts of the case for the most forward copies of the relevant document indicating the officials for the bank of the credit, show the agency location code F3880 account financial service to verify the information for the adjustment of the distribution of the F3880 account under no circumstances of the distribution credit charge any of the distribution on effect of any of the adjustment. Alright, 75098 to affect the F3880 of the account. So for the maximum of the two numerical digits as recommended with the distribution of the suffix of the 50 F3880 of the account subdivision anticipate high volume credits or charges and civil central oversight of low volume offices to request the pertinent identifying suffix of the F3880 account with Senate Brighton and request the budget reporting branch, including justification each of the request of the suffix of the F3880 account with the agency location responsible code reasonable for the suffix F3880 account as a budget reporting branch does not grant suffix to determine the request of the excess. Section 750-55, processing check forgery claims for officials for the process for the authorizing payment of statement and check for the issue replace checks for the over forged endorsement section prescribed the procedure of the distribution of the sale pay claimant claims of the no recipient of the original check have been fraudulently negotiated official for the issue reclamation of the banks the first deposit of such claims officials for the pay for the claimant of the CFFI paid in space for the endorsed U.S. Treasury the check of the amounts if the official service determined the pay and the special endorsement as same as for the following pay special endorsed president of the time of the claim of the non-receiver of the distribution officer pursuant to Title 31 CFR 2453 original check with lost home without fault of the pay with the special endorsement when endorsement is necessary for further negotiation. The check of the original check with the negotiated paid official service forged unauthorized endorsement of the pay with the special endorsed name. Pay special endorsement not participating in any part of the proceeding negotiation payment of the original check. Or 755-10, completing with the FS Form 1133, after examining check with the pay, claiming it is denied with the negotiation, check with the pay, claiming the must complete with the FS Form 1133, returning along with the check with the copy of the services, upon receipt of the FS Form 1153 with the service national payment of the integrity resolution, signed with the review of the claim of the proper form of the completeness of the claim for the completeness national payment of the integrity of the resolution, signed that opens the check claim the case for the beginning of the adjunction properly completed, pay claimant must answer all of the questions of the FS Form 1133, shall the where indicated, the pay with the must sign with the check. If the co-pay with the first server that reclaims the not subject sign with the both co-pay with the pay with the claimant sign with the mark being marked with the mark with the witness in place subject provided with the witness. If this form 1133 properly complete with the national payment integrity resolution, sent with the tray, return with the pay, the claimant letter advised with the pay, claimant it complete with the error with the indicator of the return, then properly complete with the national payment integrity resolution, sent with the instant of the pay, with the amendment for the negotiating check with the does not return with the properly complete with the FS form 1133 official service. Take no further action. 75520 claims injunction profit. The injunction profit to begin with the legal administrative specialist of the national payment integrity resolution. Some of the receive the properly complete with the SS form 1133 with the LAS or the legal administrative specialist claim the disposition notice of the distribution authorizing the staff to receive the forgery claim. The several of the activity taking place due to the injunction profit described below. 75528, the review of the FS Form 1133 supporting documentation. The legal administrative specialist reviewed the FS Form 1133 completely and 11 seconds for the other information. FS Form 1133 accompanying documentation determined the validity of the claim. Instruction claim of the legal administrative specialist acts of the TCIS integrated view of the obtainment of the initial claim, the information check in the JA's injunction process. Legal administrative specialist determines the claim, the valve of financial service itself, the claim of the pay, with the distribution according to the UCC stop reason code. Social service makes same in the distribution of the point of contact checks. Alright, 75520B review check endorsement. Legal aid administrative specialist to determine the endorsement check with terminal executive of the FS form. The 1133 file may be forward with the document analysis with handwriting analysis. Document analysis renders the option of endorsement on the check that does not appear on the page. Then the legal administrative specialist settle the claim based on the document analysis opinion. Alright, settling the claim official service if the determine the pay of the claimant is not involved with the negotiation of the check with the examination for the evidence of the clue with the document and now for the opinion of the bank with the approach of the pay. The claimant did not proceed with the pay, proceed with the check with the official for the sale, initiate with the recovery, the issue, the check with the pay, the claimant, the transfer the fund with the distribution of the settlement based upon the reclaiming the fund with the BOFT. Statement of the code A with the A or B with the criteria with the settlement of the CFIF have the officials for the sale of the distribution office of the federal any already issued the replacement check. The pay with the claimant officials for the charge of the CFIF that is transfer the credit for the distribution of the integrated intergovernmental purchase and collection, legal analysis, and legal administrative specialists. Some of the CDNs for the distribution of the worry of the forgery, established Treasury crediting your account with the legal administration specialist, make request for reclamation against the financial institution. Subreasons code C and D with the critical statement of the CFIF that might meet the official service issue for the statement of the take of the pay of the claimant of the CFFI, legal administrative special with the CDN to the DO message forgery established for the A settlement check with being issued for the pay of the legal administrative specialist recover the reclamation given the financial institution settlement letter of the payee. Stop reason code E, the official credit of the DC distribution of the deceived payee check with half of the reclamation credit received from the financial institution. However, the UCC received the check through the issue with amounts of $25 or less. The check is paid. The distribution office received the DAS code 29 following message paid with the issue with the amount of $25 or less. No further action will be taken. Officials over the determined non-cost active the reclaim the check for the $25 or less. Stop reading the code F and G with the forgery, substituting with the PFC with the recombination again with the financial institution, the legal administrative circuit specialist sending with the CDN with the distribution of the message the forgery established claim valid but settlement non appropriated based on your non-entitlement code. Alright, 75530. Check forgery insurance fund. The check forgery insurance fund, the revolving fund established with settled payment claim may be damaged if the original check has been fraudulently negotiated. The check forgery insurance fund is the instant pay with the claimants for the U.S. Treasury check for the fraudulently negotiated received settlement check for the timely manner, permanent, indefinite, serve the funding with an integral part of the check forgery insurance fund with enabled official service to meet the obligation for the pay with the claimants of the forward check with official service bars aims of the U.S. Treasury check with unless the pay claim of the person of the claim of the distribution office within 1 year of the day of the issue with the check with the issue and distribution of the must submit. You see the official service within 13 months from the issue of the day of the check. Or the Check Forgery Insurance Fund Act. The Check Forgery Insurance Fund Act of the following creates a permanent indefinite preparation adequate to the fund with the Check Forgery Insurance Fund with officials for the use of the Check Forgery Insurance Fund Act of the ensure for the recipient of the check with the amendment for the fraudulent negotiated promise issue the replacement check with the amendment for the condition for the underlying the issue and substitute check with under Title 31 U.S. Code 3331 authorizing Secretary of the U.S. Treasury to waive any of the condition for the purpose of the insurance of the claimant is to receive the timely payment. The clearance files initial burden with the established for the claim of the check paid over the forged endorsement rest within the claimant of the Secretary of the discretion with the determining whether the claimant has to meet the burden elements of the requirement of the check for the replacement and continue with the recovery of the forgery to delay with the unsuccessful charge changes necessary to the facility the timing is the replacement check with the innocent paid to do with the make it clear with the second pay with the time contingent for the government's ability to recover the forged item should the certifying the authorized federal entity provide with the expense of the payment of the replacement check with the funds of the federal entity that may be reimbursed. However, the check forgery insurance fund act by transfer funds to the appropriated account when the trust the funds of the other account enable the U.S. Treasury to comply with the two decision Comptroller General B24 26/6, August 31st, 1993, B24 35/36, September 7th, 1933. September 7th, 1993, which conclude with the Check Forgery Insurance Fund Act of Title 31 U.S. Code 3343, require that the U.S. Treasury to certify check for the issue of the replacement checks paid over forged endorsements and charge with the Check Forgery Insurance Fund Act. Alright, 755-40 request reclaimation for suspect officials for the take of the reclaimation after the check of the payment the day of the last 18 month over the PFC that does not recover the reclaimation check with the claim that the check with the $25 left each cover the claims received after the reclamation period as compared to the set is made of the check forgery insurance fund act. The UCA has stopped the reasons A, B, and C on the D. The officials into the reclamation of the TCIS additional financial institution presented check for the payment. Reclamation received the tracks and the automatically over the debt of the unchecked forgery investment insurance fund account. There is no doubt with the check forgery investment fund insurance fund account with credit remains suspense account until the appropriate disposition is determined. Or 755 for the 50 for the claim denial for the examination evidence of the legal administrative specialist the opinion of the praying protest of the officials for the determinants for the pay of the claimant that was involved with the negotiation check with the participate with the proceed the check with the claimant is for the denial of the officials for the notify the distribution officer the EDM the denial of the claim check with the distribution officer the collect the overpayment of the pay of the claimant it must be within core of the federal claims collection stand with 31 CFR part 900 to 904 legal administrative specialist says to pay the claimant a letter to deny the claim of the denial later inform the pay claimant of the reason for the denial the right of the pay the claimant the right for the appeal of the denial in writing 7055-60 for the appeal of the profit of the denied claims appeal of the pursuit profit whereby of the claim pay claimant seek the review of the denied claim based on the information of the official serve the initial decision to deny the claim wherever the claimant is seek the review of the initial denial based on the new additional information not available at the time of the initial denial. 750-568 following appeal claimants must fail the appeal and writing must mail them to the NPIRC resolution center with the may be returned with a copy of the initial denial of the National Purchase of the Institute Resolution Center together signed same with additional information documentation for their investigations considered upon appeal. Course appeal will include the check symbol, the number, the date, and of the denial letter to be conserved and appeal for the most part no later than 6 days after the date of the denial letter. 7055-60B with determining a pay over the decision if determined appeal with the valve of the legal administrative that says special the notify the pay of the claimant the letters appeal with the valve of the settlement with the proceed with the call of the subsection 7055-20 with the check forgery insurance fund determined the appeal with the valve of the legal administrative specialist uphold the denial of the consent of the pay with the claimant a letter advising the appeal with the design pays claimant that right to file with the lawsuit with the federal court legal administrative specialist of the distribution office of the CND to the appeal decision. 755-60 with the effect of the appeal decision denial of the pay claim when the appeal serves as final action the claimant that paid claimant that may not file the suit until the pay claimant that has filed the appeal with the officials of the received officials of the appeal decision. Alright, 755.79, receive the settlement, check for the settlement, check for the down, receive the pay, with the claimant that must report the down, receive the settlement, check for the officials, check for the officials, over the initiate the Treasury Act, determine the status of the settlement, check for the settlement, check for the has not been negotiated outstanding status for the check and the scan for the UCC, for the officials, over the issue for the second settlement, check for the pay, the claimant is made forward with the funds, the distribution office. If the settlement check the subject of the claim of the dime recipient that has been paid with officials if the forwards another evidence form 1133 if the pay claimant examination pay claimant allegedly forgery of the settlement check for the payment and claimant it must complete with return second form evidence form 1133 National Purchase Institute Resolution Center of the Adjusting Injunction regarding the settlement check section 760 the miscellaneous claims and we're gonna check the tape there. Alright, it's only 34 minutes. We'll keep going. 760-10 left the transaction with the West and Trinidad of the U.S. Treasury. They have been negotiated the subsidy for the law for the financial institute for the law for the home of the financial institute for the financial institute of the Federal Reserve Bank. Federal Reserve Bank with the L line of the government check with the adjustment. The department to handle the items of the provided the U.S. Treasury checks that are less than 1 year old. Distribution officials for the receiver the request the check if they have not been canceled and or not older than 1 year. But they master return the request and check the financial institute subordinate with the Federal Reserve Bank and the line of the government check adjustment department. 760-20 with the hold the due for the course of claim, but she with the hold and due for the course of the claims occur with the non-banking institution that goes to you with the Treasury check for the check for the loss for the total and before the presented cap for the financial implication. Claim must be submitted officials for the processing 760-20A. Processing holder due for the course for the claim upon the receiver the holder due for the course claim with official service to determine the status for the check. Check has been negotiated officials for the return of the claim with a copy of the check advised the holder for the check that has been paid with no further action is being taken. The check of the not negotiated officials for the forward identify letter to hold the completion when the hold the return of the request of the information officials deliver the for the check with the outstanding, the check with the outstanding with officials for the issue of the settlement check with the holder. Alright, section 765 of the handwriting analysis check older within 1 year with the USCC have not been requested timely. First for the discovery of the handwriting identification document examination requested on case the case based for the distribution of the distribution of the demonstration for the office available to me for the adjunction of the request of the distribution of the money paid and any cup of the above the normal administrative of the handling per diem. So the travel to court, distant testimony with the distribution of the money submitted the request of the handwriting identification national purchase to enter resolution committee contact with the NPIRC with the complete with the request at the time to follow and dictate forwards to reply with the requesting distribution officers. Alright, check 7070, check reclamation, official reclaim the amount that have been properly negotiated with the U.S. Treasury, check with the provided in Title 31, Part 248, when official serve the received credit equal to full principal official serve the full of the credit with the federal entity that are authorized payment for the needs home of the receivable official serve the process of the credits daily. Alright, 70-10, process for the notice for the directed debits for the U.S. Treasury with the check for reclamation. Official for the term of the check has been improperly negotiated. The transmit the notice for the direct with the debit for the U.S. Treasury for the declared check for the reclamation form of the Federal Reserve, the Fed mail system, appropriate to the President Bank of the President Bank of the have 30 days of the day with the notice for the direct with the debit to pay the full of the amount of the reclamation for the Federal Reserve master account with the automatically debited for the have for the President of the Bank pro with the 30 day with the day with the notice for the debt direct debit. Direct debit will not occur for the President Bank of the enter for the project after the directive that has occurred for the protest is sustained official services will refund the President Bank of the amount of the reclamation. Section 70-20 with the electronic transmission of the partial credit of the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs, U.S. Railroad Retirement, Internal Revenue Service, the Office of the Personal Management, receive the data of the connected directly indicated as CP, credit partial appear with the record layout of the position 177 and 178, some of the information transmitted federal entities intergovernmental payment collection credit document. Or 70-30 for the abandoned reclaimants appropriate the official serve with the notice for the federal aid, but the reclamation has been abandoned. The will recover if the financial institution protect the sustain with the financial institution liability reclamation will otherwise be deemed inappropriate. The reclamation has not been completed in addition with the initial notification that reclamation was abandoned. With each month officials serve with the report of the federal entity reclamation that were abandoned during the accounting month of the Appendix 7. Or section 70-40 for the reporting of the IRS Form 1099, cancellation of the debt. The federal entity responsible for the reporting only principal amount of the uncollectible received of the IRS Form 1099. C, as if the federal entity of the official service the federal entities are reporting uncollected principal amount of the received at the end of the calendar year. See Appendix 8, again, the end of February, any of the modification of the data. See Appendix 9, official service the report of the IRS, the principal amount of the Treasury, uncollectible receivables, interest penalty charged the fees for all uncollectible receivables related to check reclamation. organizations it contacts. You have the Department of Treasury Bureau Official Account Budget, Department of Treasury Bureau Official Account Cash and Accounting Branch, Treasury Support Center. Direct all the requests, Department of Treasury Bureau officials for the National Payment Integrity Resolution Center, and then it goes into appendix numbers 1 through 9 and summary updates of the releases. And that was chapter 7,000, cancellation, death, reclamation, claims of the checks drawn on the U.S. Treasury.